there's serious money to be made for those that buy Magic the Gathering products, hold on to them, and sell them at the right time. And this is kind of obvious from the growth that Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering have experienced over the recent year. There has been a surge in players, surge in new players, a surge in demand for these products. And of course, that comes down to things like Commander products. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, just in case you're not convinced that there's money to be made here with sealed products, I wanted to show off this dinky spreadsheet that I've created, which tracks sealed collector booster boxes. And we're looking here at 2025. The boxes that came out: Innistrad, Aether Drift, Dragonstorm, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternity, Spider-Man, Avatar. And if you bought those at what was roughly not MSRP, but the market prices, you would have spent $2,260 to get one of each of those booster boxes. Then, if you sold those today, so we're talking a year later, or in some cases less than a year later, sold today, after shipping and fees, you would net $1,461, which is a 64% return on your investment. 1 year, 64% returns. That is outsized. That is enormous. And that's not going to be true for every year or for every Magic product, but it's just to make the point that there's serious money here for those that, like I said, buy the right products at the right time and then wait and sell at the right time. You buy low, you sell high. Wow, Nick, you're brilliant. Thanks. So let's talk about some Commander decks. Let's talk about Draconic Destruction, a Commander deck that within the past month has gone up a solid 27-ish%. Real quick, what we're going to be talking about and what I'm using is TCG player data. There is data from the demand side, which is kind of what we see here, the number that sold, the price they sell for. There's also data on the supply side, which is down here. It's not put into a nice chart, but it's how many sellers are there and how many units are they selling. I have taken both of those data points from TCG Player into account when doing this analysis. And the idea here is let's look at recent Commander deck sets and decks, see the ones that are going up, see the ones that are going down, and try to make heads or tails of this, of what's going on in the market. And as a broad, taking a step back, I'll do my full face. We're taking a step back. As a broad stroke, Commander decks are going up in value, up in price. This is the past month. This is 30 days ago to today for when this video came out, which is like August 26th of 2026. So Commander decks are going up. Some are going down. Well, Nick, which ones are going down? Well, it's the Marvel superheroes Commander decks are going down, which makes sense. It's a relatively recent set, and the supply is still getting into the market, still having downward pressure on the price. Star Trek Commander decks. Who would have known that the earliest of pre-orders on TCG Player are for extra normally high prices, and that those prices come down as time goes on. And then Warhammer 40K Commander deck sets and decks are going down in value. There's a passionate YouTuber known as Anon who believes or knows that the decks are going to be reprinted later this year. And I believe that word has gotten out there and people got scared and sold their stuff. Like me, I used to have a deck right there and I sold it. So I'm part of the reason why that price is going down. Anyways, but lots of stuff are going up. And I think it's interesting in revealing the kinds of things that are going up, like a starter Commander deck. This deck isn't even that good, in my opinion. I played against it, and I don't know, it's strong. It can kick butt, but it is going up. We've seen a rise in the past month, and of course we see this kind of dip and rise in the past year. But just in the past month, we're seeing quite a bit of movement. Like I said before, 27% increase in price. It's not clear the supply or demand side what exactly is going on. It's not obvious that there's less supply or that there's higher demand. But as time goes on, the price is going up. Let's take a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This deck is going up. Similarly, 25% returns, dwindling supply. You don't see it on this demand side. On the chart the TCG Player shows you, things just look hunky-dory. But the price is going up because there's less and less sellers with less and less available. And as that number dwindles down, the price is going up. Dragonstorm, increasing demand. Checked out this Mardu Surge deck, which in the past month, once again, see a steady increase. This has gone up about 24%. And we're just seeing more and more people want this deck. And you can kind of see it here. There's, this 12 sold in a day or whatever. Let me read the notes. Demand is up about 24% from 33 to 41 units per 2 weeks. Supply is flat, around 73 copies. Interesting stuff. Let's continue. Now this deck kicks butt. I played this deck and I won, and it was great. Token Triumph starter commander deck goes for $27 now. A month ago it went for 20. And so that is roughly a 20% increase, something about like that. Both supply and demand easing. So once again, this one's not super clear what exactly is going on, except that supply is dwindling, demand is increasing, maybe at the same kind of rate. Masters of Evil, Doctor Who. So even older commander deck sets that haven't been printed in quite some time, we're seeing price increase. Not the most liquid deck ever, but you see the steady price increase from $100 to $125, that kind of 20-25% increase. And what is going on here? Well, it's old, it's out of print. There's strong equity inside of the deck. There's great cards with great value. Plus demand from the new legend. Yeah, I don't know. There's just all kinds of stuff going on inside the markets that are making people want to buy decks like this. I suspect, if I don't have this data, but I suspect that a lot of these prices going up are new players that want to experience old decks. They're going back and saying, hey, what did I miss out on? And people that were brought in thanks to Spider-Man and Avatar and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Marvel superheroes are now going back and saying, oh, I like Doctor Who. Oh, Masters of Evil is a great deck, strong deck. Let me buy that one. Also, this coincides really well with the evil commander deck out of Marvel superheroes. I wonder what kind of mashup you can make combining the Masters of Evil with the Marvel superheroes Grixis evil deck. Anyways, continuing on, Lorne Eclipse, Dance of the Elements. What are my notes here? We see about a 20% increase. And what's interesting is that what my unpaid intern suspects is going on here to see this increase from mid 30s to mid 40s or low 40s in price is that maybe the singles are increased in demand or singles have shot up in value. But that is not true. When you look at the singles, everything is my understanding, this is all just as cheap as it was a month ago. There isn't anything here that stands out to me as a serious, increase in price. Cards like Springleaf Parade are, around $10, but I believe, I guess I can click in here. But yeah, this price is, a little bit up and down, but it's been around this like $8, $9 this whole time. There just isn't an explanation in the singles. Something is going on where people are buying this deck, which 5-color commander deck's very flashy, very exciting. This deck also happens to be pretty good. I've played against it. Interesting, right? Interesting that these prices are going up. What else? Well, deck sets. Deck sets are going up. You can see here where you could buy the 5 starter commander decks for, $80 3 months ago. They're now up to $112, $120. We're seeing an increase. Let me see if there's any clear signal here. Dwindling supply. Yep. Supply down 34% from 121 copies to 80 copies available on the market. Interesting. Supply is dwindling. Prices are rising. Is now the time to buy. Edge of Eternities, same thing. I'm pretty sure. Check my notes. Dwindling supply. Down from 219 copies to 43 copies in the same time frame. And actually demand fell as well. But during this period, supply has been broken through even more. What is going on? So is it time? Is it time to pull the trigger on these commander decks? I don't know for sure. A big part of that would be the reprints. I am gearing up to make some big moves and investments into markets, and I'm going to be watching these commander decks. So I guess my answer is I'm not pulling the trigger yet. I might miss out, but I'm not pulling the trigger yet. But things are moving. Things are going up in value. They're going up in price. I think this is indicative of a strong market where there's players that are driving their attention and their desire to enjoy Magic into precons. Precon commander decks that are rising in price. Like I said, the only commander decks that are going down in price, they're new. and they're too new. And so the surplus of supply that's from them being new or from them being pre-ordered is pushing prices down. Most every other Commander deck set is going up. New players enjoying the game, buying stuff. Is there an opportunity to make money here? Absolutely. If you can get in, good prices, hold on for 5-6 months and sell, this is a clear play to make good money. So not in my opinion, I need to shout out that this is all my opinion. I'm getting all excited about this, and so I'm talking about it like it's for sure, but obviously nothing's for sure. And let me make a call out with that too, is that here's my economics lesson of the day. And I've talked about this before. Feel free to click off the video or whatever. There is a cost to increased returns, and that cost is called a risk. If there's anybody telling you about an investment opportunity that has, 20, 30, 40% returns, there must be an increased risk compared to the things that are only 4% returns. Those things can be closer to guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but if something is around that 4% return, things like money market, treasury bonds, that can be, guaranteed. That can be something you're much more confident about. Anything where they're selling you a return that's 10, 15, 20, like I said, anything like that, there's risk. And the higher the number, the greater the risk. With Magic the Gathering, it's no different. If you're investing in collector booster boxes that in 1 year gain you 64%, there's risk involved. And the risk can come in many ways. One of the ways that there's risk is you have to hold on to these products. You have to sell these products yourself. There's effort and risk built into that. What if your house floods or burns down or whatever, heaven forbid. But of course, there's also the risk that these products get reprinted or price goes down for other reasons. The biggest risk for these Commander deck sets is reprints, which I'm not aware of reprints for any of these Commander decks I've talked about coming anytime soon, but that is the risk. And so anyways, with that caveat out of the way, let me know what you think. Definitely cool things happening in the world of Magic the Gathering. Thanks for watching. Peace.